Happy with the guilty plea on this case?
I think anytime somebody accepts responsibility, it's a good thing. It allows them to get on with their life, and as I've said in the past, it adds closure for the city of Dayton.
3 of the first 4 people that were indicted in this federal corruption probe have now pleaded guilty. You feel like your case was strong and that's why you're able to secure these pleas?
I think in every case, discovery goes out, the parties have an opportunity to look at it, and I think the guilty verdicts, or excuse me, guilty pleas speak for themselves.
You were saying upstairs that in each of these cases it takes some time because there are, you said, maybe hundreds, thousands of hours of evidence discovery. Talk about that a little bit, would you?
Sure. As had been brought up in some of the previous court hearings, particularly some of the motions to continue, there were dozens, if not hundreds of hours of audio-video discovery in a number of these cases that have pleaded guilty. Because of that, it's a long process for everybody to go through those.
I don't know how much you can say, but are those recordings done by some of your, investigators, basically?
I don't really want to get into the specifics of how the recordings were prepared and made, but there were a number of recordings, audio and video, in the pleaded cases.
What do you have, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, that's fine.
What do you have to say? I mean, we were just talking to his defense attorney. I mean, this is a smart guy with an MBA, like a veteran and everything. What do you have to say that not everybody is above the law, I guess?
I think that's why these cases are so important, because it does send a message. In these type of cases, white-collar offenses, public corruption cases, people have the opportunity to turn back a number of times along the way. And it also gives, whether local, state, federal government, a chance to look at their practices and procedures to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. So, while it's undoubtedly a terrible day for Mr. Winburn and his family, it's also a day where the people of this community, that government officials can take a step back, introspect, an introspective look, and figure out ways to make sure that things like this don't happen in the future.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
I asked the defense counselor the same question. I would like your response. If there was anything to learn from this for the future generation going into political work, what lessons can be learned from this?
I think the biggest lesson is that when you work for the government, you're working for the people that employ you. And, we don't work for big corporations. We work for the people on the street. And that means we have to put their interests above our own. If you want to go out and make a profit, there's a big, wide private sector out there that you can do that in. But when you're a public employee, you're holding the public trust.
Right.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.